Pour a glass of water. Hold it up to the light. It looks like nothing. That is the point. Somebody worked very hard to make it look like nothing. And if you had to guess how it got that way, you would probably say filters and chemicals, something industrial, something sterile. You would be wrong about the order. Before the chlorine, before the pipes, that water was cleaned by trillions of living things that ate the contamination and turned it into more of themselves. Start with a sand filter. It looks like a swimming pool full of sand with water sitting on top. Water goes in the top and comes out the bottom, cleaner. Simple physical straining, you would think. Big particles get stuck, small ones do not. Except that is not where the cleaning happens. The real work happens in the top few millimeters. A thin, slimy, brownish layer forms on the sand surface over days and weeks. Engineers still call it by its German name, the Schmutzdecke, the dirty layer. Under a microscope, it is a city. Bacteria, protozoa, algae, rotifers, tiny worms, all tangled together in a mesh of sticky secretions. And it does not strain the water, it eats it. Organic matter that would slip through any physical gap gets consumed. Bacteria that would pass straight through the sand get hunted down and swallowed by protozoa patrolling the surface. Here is the detail that gives the whole thing away. When a new, slow sand filter is built, it does not work. Operators run it and throw the output away for days or weeks while the layer grows in. They call this ripening. They are not waiting for machinery to warm up. They are waiting for something to come alive. James Simpson built the first of these for a public water supply in 1829, filtering Thames water for the Chelsea Waterworks Company in London. He built it to make water look clear. He had no idea he had built a weapon. Because in 1854, a physician named John Snow was investigating a cholera outbreak in Soho. And alongside it, he noticed something else. Two companies were selling water to the same South London streets, sometimes to houses next door to each other. One of them, Lambeth, had recently moved its intake further up the Thames, above the point where the city dumped its sewage. The other had not. Snow counted the deaths house by house. Customers of the contaminated supply died at many times the rate of their neighbors. Same streets, same air, different water. And nobody yet knew what a germ was. So what exactly are these organisms doing down there? Some of them are eating things you would never recognize as food. In the 1890s, the microbiologist Sergei Winogradsky showed that certain bacteria draw their energy not from organic matter, but from ammonia, oxidizing it into nitrite, while other bacteria oxidize that nitrite into nitrate. At the time, this was a deeply strange idea. Life running on mineral chemistry instead of on food. Ammonia is what nitrogen waste becomes, including yours. Which brings us to the uncomfortable part. The water arriving at your treatment plant has very often already passed through somebody else's town. Their sewage, treated and released into the river, becomes your source. Engineers call it de facto reuse, and across the world, it is completely normal. So the biology has been working on your water long before your water plant ever sees it. In 1914, two chemists in Manchester named Edward Ardern and William Lockett published a set of experiments on sewage. They had been blowing air through it to encourage microbes to break the waste down. Then they tried something clever. Instead of discarding the brown sludge left at the end of a batch, they kept it and stirred it into the next one. Treatment time collapsed from weeks to hours. That sludge was not waste. It was the workforce. Dense clumps of bacteria stuck together into drifting cities called flock, with protozoa grazing across them like cattle on a hillside. Ardern and Lockett had effectively invented livestock farming for microbes. They named it activated sludge, and today it sits at the heart of sewage treatment on every continent. Walk past a treatment plant and the aeration tank is the biggest, loudest thing there. All that churning is not stirring. It is breathing. It is feeding oxygen to a herd. And a herd can die. Wastewater operators talk about their plants the way farmers talk about animals. A cold snap slows the microbes down and performance sags. A factory quietly dumping solvent into the sewer can wipe out the population in hours, and the plant will keep humming along while failing completely. If the bacteria that clump into flock get outcompeted by stringy filamentous ones, the sludge stops settling, and the whole process starts spilling solids downstream. Operators call that bulking, and it can take weeks to fix. None of that is a machine breaking. That is an ecosystem collapsing. So where does the chlorine come in? At the end. Almost always at the end. Chlorine is not the cleaner. It is the bouncer, standing at the door once the work is finished, making sure nothing survives the long, dark journey through the pipes to your tap. Add it at the start, and you would kill the very organisms doing the cleaning. Which is a strange thing to sit with. We built a civilization on the assumption that clean means sterile, but the system delivering safe water to hundreds of millions of homes does not work by killing life. It works by hiring it, feeding it, keeping it warm, worrying about it. Pour a glass of water, hold it up to the light. It looks like nothing because something was alive long enough to make it that way.